What I'd like to do now is demonstrate a few disarms to the various angles, starting with an angle 1, which is a forehand strike to the side of the neck. Okay, first, go from here. Instead of going into the counter, what I'm going to do is just a quick release from here. Okay, again, make contact. Instead of striking, 1, grab the weapon, small circle, create a fulcrum. Okay, if you do this efficiently, he should feel the jarring in his shoulder. Okay, last time. Okay, switch. It's just a quick release. Okay. Secondly, strikes again. Come in here, angle, drop. Okay. So I'm stripping the weapon downward. Okay. If the person is very strong and you attempt a disarm and nothing happens, well, you have to soften. You might go up and then strike down. Okay. Because there's no one answer to every situation. So sometimes you need to be able to adapt and move to a different move. Okay, last time. Strip down. On most of the strips, as he attacks, come in here, ideally using the butt of your weapon to peel down. Again, we want to keep our training partners, so we simulate. Okay, last time. Okay, downward strip. Okay, this next disarm, against once you execute an inside block, he attacks. Okay, you block, angle, again using the butt of the stick, strip upward. Again. On an upward strip, when I come through, in reality, my weapon is coming through and striking also. Again. Downward strip, upward strip. Again. Angle, go right through. The disarm that you choose to use will depend on the position of your hand at the time that you initiate. So if I execute an X block, at that point in time it's easier to go down than it is to come up. Likewise, if I end up in this position here, it's easier to go up than it is to go down. Okay. Against an inside deflection, this position, I may strike, I choose to strike, strip the weapon. Okay. This is a vine type movement. So again, I clear the hit. And also, whether you're doing a disarm or you're doing a follow-up strike, remember that you should always soften. So when I strike here, I may kick first. I want to distract and I want to take the attention off of the area that I'm attacking. Okay. Again, place and disarm. Okay. Switch. And those are some basic disarms for an angle 1. Against the number 2, when he strikes, once I do an outside block, just quick release. Okay, and make sure you move your foot out of the way. Okay, again, block. In reality, I'm using the butt of the stick, okay, to strike. I create a base and quick release. Remember, soften if necessary. Okay, quick release. Okay. The second disarm that you can utilize against an angle 2 is I deflect, soften, take the weapon away. Again, deflect, following the line of the stick to the knuckles. Okay. From that position, retract your stick slightly, slides in, position the hand where his fingers are pointing upward, go against the thumb. Now you have 2 weapons. Okay. Slower. Clear. Last time. Against a stronger individual, you want to make sure that when you turn the hand here, that you pull them slightly off balance and that you use your hips, use body torque to disarm. Even though you're going against the thumb, which is a weak link, a strong person can still hold on to their weapon if you do not use your body. And it's important that you understand that my arm against his arm, he's much stronger. However, my body against his arm. So if in this position I'm using my entire body, then it's effortless. Whereas if I'm only using my arm, it's going to depend on who is the strongest. Okay? So once again, against angle 2, first, quick release. And a vine. Okay. Against an angle 2, you can also utilize what we refer to as a reverse snake. Okay. You can either deflect, strike, strip the weapon hand. Okay. Again. What's important when you do the reverse snake, in order for it to be effective, is you want to think in terms of small circle. Your movements need to be real economical and tight. So even if I block here, once I make contact with the hand, I do not retract the hand. Okay, once I touch, my hand encircles his weapon hand using my thumb to guide, and I pull it tight. So if I choose to not let go, I just slim the elbow, hyperextend the elbow, or with my training partner, I want to make sure that when I strike that I do release. Because if you do not release, there's nowhere for their arm to go and you're going to hyperextend it. So it's important that you also consider safety when training. Okay, so once again, okay. So those are just a few ways of dealing with an angle 2. Angle 3, so low wing, again I just strip it downward. Okay. Move here, headbutt, kick, down. Last time. One. Okay, switch. Okay. You can either clip straight down, or you execute that move, you can angle. Okay. Okay, switch. Okay. Also against an angle 3, when he strikes, this is a 1, I did an inside block. All I have to do is lower my center, and I can also execute an inside block for an angle 3. I switch, move. Again. More time. Block, I hook the hand, bring it down towards my hip. Using my forearm, I strip. A little faster. Okay, switch. Again. Again. Okay, those are some basic ways that you can disarm an angle 3. A strike that comes in the trajectory of an angle 4, you can also strikes here, reverse snake, strip, again, low wing. When I drop my free hand, okay, I'm not just placing it, I'm striking to the nerve. Okay, I encircle and position my weapon hand ready to strike if need be, and then strip the weapon hand. Again. You also want to make sure that if you step forward or you triangulate with your left leg leading, that so that you do not get hit, then you pull back. Two things are happening here. I'm placing myself in a better position, and also I'm breaking his vertical plane. I want to make sure that I take him off balance, strike if need be, then disarm. Okay, opposite side. Again. And last time, moving in, smothering, encircling, strike again, and disarm. Another way to deal with an angle 4 is that you can either go, oftentimes we use the lock as a disarm. So for example, if he strikes and I drop on it, I encircle and I place the weapon over his Golgi tendon. Press down. Okay? Again. Okay? And last time. Drop the stick. I don't want to crank it. So the lock can oftentimes become the disarm. I want to make a point here. As I said earlier, sometimes the strike is either defensive or offensive. So in this position where the thrust is coming forward, what you want to do is try to use your strike as a disarm. So if he comes at me, that alone, I'm striking to the wrist, hopefully will be a disarm. However, that's not always the case. So let's say he comes straight in, I have to deflect it, and then I shoot forward to disarm. Okay, again, from here, straight, strike. Okay. Last time. I don't have a lot of space to move. I'm blading my body, and I'm keeping it real tight, and I'm just punching forward to the fist. Okay. Switch. Again. And this is primarily a movement if you're really in close quarters and don't have space to move. You just contour, follow the contour of the body and punch. Last time. Straight down. Okay. Okay. Also against number 5, you can utilize a reverse snake. When he strikes, this position here, just come in and strip. Okay, the point I want to make here is that you don't have to have 100 techniques. In a real situation, you want to use something that you're comfortable with, and the movements that you're comfortable with are the movements you're going to use. So instead of cluttering your mind with 5 or 10, 15, 20 different disarms for every angle, at first you want to make sure that you have a strong base and the techniques that you're using that you can respond with muscle memory and not have to think. So what I like to do is try to find in every angle movements that I can use over and over and over again so that it becomes more principle-based as opposed to saying, oh my God, he's grabbing me from a different side of the arm, so therefore that technique will not work. So you want to try to find the commonality in the training. This concludes the first tape. And keep in mind when you practice these tactics that you should always practice first static, fluid, and lastly dynamic. Also keep your partner's safety in mind. You're working with rattan sticks, if not with training sticks, make sure that you respect your weapon. It's made out of rattan, and rattan can cause a lot of damage. So respect your weapon and respect your partner when you train with them. Hope to see you in the next tape.